All right, what's up, everybody? KZ here uh, for the late UFC 315 picks and predictions, preview, breakdown, whatever it is that you want to call it. Let's go ahead and get straight into it. Um, I wanted to get this up a little bit earlier, but it's just I'm a busy mofo, so I just didn't have the time to really just get into it properly because I really wanted to do the proper amount of research and on each fight so that I could give a somewhat educated opinion on what's going on here. So let's go ahead and get right into the card here, top to bottom. We're going to start at the bottom of the card with Beksat Almakhan versus Brad Katona. All right, so first things first, let your boy go ahead and pull up his notes here. All right. So I think Beksat wins for sure, just because he's the more dangerous striker. Katona's good. He has a good pace. He's a good volume striker. He is hittable though. He's willing to exchange and stand in the fire and go back and forth. And I feel like in those gunfights, Almakhan is going to have the advantage just due to having more power than Brad. He's going to be able to just, Brad's going to land 2 or 3, and Beksat's going to feel him, and then Beksat can just land 1, and that'll be just as consequential, if not more, than the 2 or 3 Brad landed. Because he's a volume guy, doesn't have the most pop in his shots, but that's not the case with Beksat Almakhan. So I'm thinking that he can either get the decision or even a KO. Brad Katona's tough. He's a tough dude, but we'll see. It might even be like a standing stoppage or something. Beksat might hurt him on the feet and just keep pouring it on until the referee has to step in. But let's go ahead and move up. The pick there is going to be Beksat. Next fight here, Jong Young Lee versus Daniel Santos, Willie Cat. The pick here is going to be Jong Young Lee. He's the featherweight. He's coming in. He's the bigger man. 6-inch reach advantage. He looked good on the scales. Willie Cat was looking kind of a little bit skinny fat there on the scales. Not too impressive. He's going to be the smaller man. He's been super inactive. His last win was over Johnny Munoz. Just a jiu-jitsu guy, not a top 15 fighter by any means. I don't even know if Johnny Munoz is in the UFC anymore. I don't think so. But the pick is going to be Jong Young Lee. I'm pretty sure he's just going to be better everywhere. The more athletic fighter, the more primed athlete, ready to come in and most likely give Daniel Santos his last fight in the UFC. All right. And then we have Marc-Andre Barriault versus Bruno Silva. Man, this fight, both of these guys are on losing streaks. Bruno Silva's on a 4-fight losing streak, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Well, if you count the Chris Weidman eye pokes, which I guess you shouldn't count. So a 3-fight losing streak and then a no contest or a disqualification for Weidman. And then, man, Barriault on a 3-fight losing streak, 2-fight knockout losing streak. So, geez, this is just like pick the guy that's pick the better loser here. But neither of these guys are losers, but they've been losing. So, shit, man. This is a kind of tough one to call for me, but I'm just going to say Barriault, just because, he's going to be the hometown guy. Silva's just been looking, I don't know, man. He's just been looking like he doesn't want to be there recently. Like Barriault, he's just getting stopped, but he wants to be there. So I think Barriault by tenacity, wrestling. Neither guy, has super remarkable like fight IQ, but I'm pretty sure Barriault has the better wrestling, better jiu-jitsu, and he should just be able to, grind out Bruno Silva to a decision. But yeah, that's what I'm leaning here on this one, guys. So let's see. And then we got Navajo Sterling versus Ivan Erslan. I feel like Sterling overall is the faster striker. I think Erslan had a competitive kickboxing match with Kudalaba, and I feel like Sterling is probably a lot of bit better than Kudalaba on the feet, I would say so, because he was getting dropped by Kudalaba. So I think that if Erslan is going to be able to get dropped by Kudalaba, then Sterling is going to be able to drop him too here. But Erslan is live, late, maybe round 3, because he's game. He doesn't really gas. He looked good against Kudalaba in round 3. So if he comes in with a wrestle heavy game plan, who knows if Sterling might gas out. He didn't look super impressive against Tuco Tokos. He wasn't able to get the finish there. But it was a dominant decision. He had Tukos just running for his life, shooting for his life, just in danger the whole time. So I feel like Navajo Sterling should be able to come in and put it on Urslan. Urslan's going to be more proud than Tokos. He's not going to be like as willing to just run away and panic shoot and just, oh man, I need to get out of the way of these shots at all costs. Like, because that's the kind of mentality Tokos had going in there. If you watch that fight. But yeah, Urslan's gonna be more willing to trade. He's gonna be more like, let's fucking go, So that might get him caught, that might get him finished, or he might come out here and use his experience and actually beat Sterling. But I don't think so. I think that Sterling is gonna get this done. He's gonna be the faster, more precise striker, and he's got good power. So we're gonna go Sterling. And now we got Modestas Bukauskas versus Iwan Kutalaba. I'm going to go Bukauskas here just because I feel like he's better kickboxing overall and he should be able to defend the takedowns from Kutalaba. So I feel like this fight is going to be mostly contested on the feet. Bukauskas trains with Tom Aspinall. He's been looking better and better in the cage every time. So we're going to go with Bukauskas here just to get it done either by stoppage, KO, or decision. But I see him getting it done over Kutalaba. Kutalaba, with the heavy wrestling attack, he's good. He's dangerous. He probably has the better wrestling and jiu-jitsu, but I feel like Bukauskas has the footwork. I feel like maybe probably the better cardio, better fight IQ, I would say for sure. The striking advantage. So I'm going to go with Bukauskas on this one. I'd say he's a relatively confident pick on this. Navajo Sterling isn't as confident as I would say I'm on for Bukauskas. But yeah, and then moving up here, we got Jessica Andrade versus Jasmine Jastovicius. This is a sick ladies fight. Jessica, we already know that she's a tiny little powerhouse. Jasmine Jastovicius is on a pretty good winning streak. If I'm not mistaken, I think she lost to Tracy Cortez recently. No, that was a while ago. Wow, what am I talking about? So yeah, she's on a good winning streak. She just beat former title challenger Mayra Bueno Silva in a pretty dominant fight. And then Jessica Andrade, she's been losing to these girls that can wrestle that are bigger than her, and that's exactly what Jasmine is. She lost to Erin Blanchfield, she lost to Tatiana Suarez. She did beat Mackenzie Dern, but Mackenzie doesn't really have the wrestling. I feel like Jasmine's bigger, has better wrestling than Mackenzie. Obviously not as good as jiu-jitsu, but she makes up for it with the wrestling and just the physicality. So Jasmine, not on the same level, I would say, as Erin Blanchfield or Tatiana Suarez, but I feel like she's going to be good enough with the wrestling, grappling to get Andrade out of there, either by submission or just win a dominant decision by grappling. Or shit, maybe even ground and pound TKO, because we saw Jillian Robertson get Marina out of there by ground and pound TKO. So Jasmine by ground stoppage, I feel like is super live. If she's on the feet, if Jessica Andrade can stop her takedowns, she's definitely live. If you see Jessica Andrade maybe having success with stopping the takedowns, like she stops one or two, then that's a good live betting spot. But other than that, I would say Jasmine is a lock here. I have her a lot of my parlays. Same with Bukauskas, and same with Beksat. So moving up the card here, we got Mike Malott versus Charles Radke. I'm liking Radke here. I'm liking Radke big. I like Radke by KO. Maybe even by decision, really, but I just feel like it's going to be a KO because Mike Malott is too hesitant on the feet. He looked really, really, really respectful of Trevin Giles. He wasn't throwing. There was barely anything thrown in that fight. And Radke's not going to be as inactive and such low volume as Trevin Giles was. He's going to go after him. He's going to fucking try to put it on him and hurt him. So if Malott's going to be there, just hesitant to throw, waiting for the perfect little 1-2 that he can get in there, like Radke's just going to be coming in at him, throwing hammers, and he's going to get him out of there. I feel like, Malott kind of broke against Neil Magny. And people say Charles Radke got finished by Carlos Prates. I feel like Carlos Prates would finish Mike Malott too, so it's not like that says much. Carlos Prates is a savage. He had Ian Gary crawling away from him on his hands and knees in round 5. Like Carlos Prates, it's no shame in getting finished by that killer. So I like Radke here. I like him big. I got him in a couple parlays. I got Radke KO in some parlays. So that's what I'm thinking here. Radke's the more aggressive fighter. I would say their wrestling could be even. Malott probably has the jiu-jitsu advantage, maybe a little bit cleaner footwork. But Radke's a dog, man. He's probably the tougher. Well, he's definitely the tougher guy, more heart. Durability, who knows? He got finished to the body there, but I don't see Malott putting the same kind of powerful strike on Radke like that, like capitalizing on something like that. So, and then cardio, I'd say these guys are even. So yeah, I think Radke's going to get this done here. He's coming in. He wants it. So we got Kyle Prepolek versus Benoit Saint-Denis. I mean, what are we going to say here? Prepolek hasn't fought in the UFC for quite some time. I'm not even sure how long. This last time this guy fought in the UFC was in 2019. Lost a decision to Austin Hubbard. I mean, pretty unremarkable. Just 0-2 in the UFC. If Benoit is deserving to be a top 15 ranked UFC fighter, then he should just get this dude out of here in round one. That's really all there is to it, to be honest. Like, BSD should just go ahead and freaking kill this guy. But, crazier things have happened. I would say Juliana Pena beating Amanda Nunes was pretty fucking crazy. Strickland Izzy was pretty fucking crazy. Prepolek BSD, that would be pretty fucking crazy. I don't see it happening. I mean, BSD should be able to get it done comfortably, but if you just want to feel like throwing $1 on Kyle Prepolek, or I don't know, I don't. It's just not even worth betting. That's the thing with this fight. The odds are just ridiculous. So yeah, BSD huge favorite. He should just go ahead and smoke this guy. Let's go ahead and move up. Alexa Grasso versus Natalia Silva. Battle of the cuties here. That's what we got. That's what we got going on. All right. Sorry, Priscilla. All right, but yeah, we got Alexa Grasso versus Natalia Silva. I already said that. Sorry, these ladies are distracting me. All right, but I like Natalia Silva here by just footwork, outstriking Grasso, and Natalia Silva looks good in the scrambles. She's not easy to hold down. We saw that in her fights against Viviane Araújo, and like mostly everybody that she fights, they're just trying to get her down because once she's dancing around and fucking throwing these lightning fast kicks up to your face, you're like, oh my god, I need to get this girl to the ground because she's kicking the hell out of me, and it's not fun. So Natalia Silva is really good, really clean. Most of her losses were early in her career. She's on a good winning streak here, and Alexa, she's good. She has potent, dangerous boxing. I'm not looking past Alexa completely. I know that she can get this done. If she can get Natalia to the ground, she has finishing ability. We've seen that. She's dangerous with the jiu-jitsu. She had Valentina in danger several times. She submitted Valentina in the second fight. But yeah, Alexa, she's a live underdog, but I just feel like Natalia has the tools to get it done. She's just watching the tape on her. It's hard to pick against her because she just looks so clean. She just looks so surgical out there, looks so effective. So we'll see. I mean, if Alexa can reach her with the hands and hurt her, I feel like that's her best option. Maybe a club and sub from Alexa. But overall, I'd say that Natalia Silva gets this done. Just outstriking her, moving around, running around the cage, if you want to say. But Natalia, she moves around a lot. She's got that like Wonder Boy-esque style in the ladies divisions. So I like Natalia here, and I like her to get it done by decision. So this fight, Jose Aldo versus Ayman Zahabi. Man, Jose Aldo with the weight miss. This is the benefit to me doing this later on in the week, is that I can see these guys after weigh-ins. And Jose Aldo did not look good on the scales. He had a rough weight cut. They had to move it up to 145. So I don't know, man. I'm just you can go ahead and bet Aldo. You can fade me if you want, but I'm just going to tell you guys right here and now that I'm picking Ayman Zahabi to win this fight because Zahabi can beat Aldo the same way that Mario Bautista did, via pressure, holding him against the cage, taking him down, pushing, just not letting Aldo get comfortable. There's a game plan to beat Aldo. It's been established, like what you need to do to beat this guy, because this is the biggest fight of Zahabi's life. Jose Aldo is like, who the fuck is this guy? Who the fuck is Ayman Zahabi? I'm Jose Aldo. I'm going to go out here and smoke this kid, even though they're about the same age. But yeah, man, like Zahabi's probably been waiting for an opportunity like this his whole career. Jose Aldo's a legend, a botched weight cut, we've seen in fights where Jose Aldo gets lazy against the cage, like we've seen against Marab, we've seen against Mario Bautista most recently. So, Zahabi, he doesn't mind making this a boring ass fight as long as he gets the win. He will hold Aldo against the cage for 15 minutes if he has to get this win. So it's like I'm sure that he'll find a way to land strikes on Aldo, just pressure, push him, and he can win a decision here for sure. Jose Aldo might come out here and smoke this dude with the hands and feet if he wants to actually show up and not get lazy against the cage. And we'll see. But I feel like this botched weight cut is gonna affect him negatively, and I feel like Zahabi just wants this, man. So we'll come in. That's gonna be my pick. If it doesn't hit, I'm gonna look like an idiot. But if it does, I'm gonna look like a genius. So we'll see here. I guess maybe picking it after Aldo misses weight doesn't make me as much of a genius if he did miss weight. You know what I mean? If there were no weight issues, yada yada yada. You know what I'm trying to say. I'm not going to articulate that whole entire point. All right, okay. So now we got Manon Fiorot versus Valentina Shevchenko. Man, I love me some Valentina Shevchenko. I'm rooting for her. I feel like Fiorot, if anybody's going to beat Valentina, like other than Alexa, it's going to be Manon Fiorot. It's just hard, man. Fiorot is bigger, stronger than Alexa. I would say she's harder to take down than Alexa Grasso. Fiorot looked good in the striking against Rose. Not crazy good. Maybe Valentina could have some success in the striking. Watching that back, Fiorot wasn't as dominant against Rose as I thought she was on the second watch, on the rewatch here. Alexa had good striking success against Valentina. She dropped her at times, hurt her. Tyler Santos had grappling success against Valentina. Valentina, I love her, but she hasn't been infallible in her most recent fights. She hasn't been the dominant, like her opponents have no chance Valentina, So I'm rooting for Valentina, man. I want her to win. Truly, I do want her to win because I just fucking love her. She's the best. But I'm going to have to just go Fiorot by decision as much as it pains me inside my heart. It hurts. But I just see her being bigger, stronger, just the more effective fighter on the night. She can outpoint Valentina maybe on the feet, stop takedowns. I mean, she's never fought anybody as good as Valentina, clearly. Valentina could go out there and just get it done. Like I'm not going to be shocked if Valentina wins. She's elite. She's she is the second best WMMA fighter of all time behind Amanda Nunes. So if Valentina gets this done, it's not going to be a shock factor. And I would be happy for it, but I just feel like Manon is out of all these ladies in these divisions, freaking bug flying in my face. Out of all the ladies in these divisions, Manon is the toughest, going to be the toughest challenge for Valentina Shevchenko here, So we'll see. We'll see. I'm looking forward to it. All the ladies' fights on this card are sick, Jessica Andrade versus Jasmine, Alexa versus Natalia, Valentina Manon. Those are the sick ladies fights. These aren't bathroom break ladies fights. These are ones that you're like, damn, these ladies are freaking elite. I want to see what happens here. So here we go. Main event time. Belal Muhammad versus Jack Della Maddalena. Jack Della Maddalena hopefully is going to get this done. Belal by decision is obviously super, likely because that's how this dude wins. But I'm going to say Jack is the more dangerous fighter. Belal doesn't do much damage on the ground when he takes you down. And Jack can get up. And when they're on the feet, Belal is just in danger. So I feel like Jack has finished better strikers than Belal. And he's defended the submission attempts and just overall ground and pound, I would say. Just defense on the ground. He's defended himself against better grapplers like with Gilbert Burns. You might say, oh, Belal Muhammad beat Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns injured his arm like in the first round. Belal Muhammad kind of threw a body kick, like the knee hold like landed in his armpit. He couldn't use his right or left arm for the entirety of the fight. So, and that was 3 weeks after Masvidal. That wasn't 100% Gilbert Burns that Belal beat. Now, Belal, he's just beating the people put in front of him. He's looking good. TKO'd Sean Brady, dominated Leon. But overall, it's like Bilal's not going to damage Jack. He's not going to hurt Jack to the point where Jack is going to be like ineffective in the fight. He's not going to submit him. So I feel like Jack can get this done by KO. If not, he can just hurt Belal enough to even potentially win a decision. Because yes, Belal might hold him down for 5 minutes, or not 5 minutes, but he might hold him down for a couple of minutes, 2-3 minutes in the round. And then if Jack manages to get up to his feet, he's going to fuck Belal up. He's going to fuck him up. He's going to hit him. He's going to get him in the clinch. He's going to get him with the knees. He's going to get him with the hands. Belal is going to throw, his Canelo hands. JDM's going to, turtle up, slip, defend the takedowns. He might even get him with a similar kind of knee or uppercut that he got Gilbert Burns with. I just feel like Jack he's going to come in here trying to take Bilal's fucking head off. He's going to come in here, try to kill him. He's not going to get discouraged like Leon Edwards and, just be like, oh man, I'm losing. It is what it is. Oh, I'm Leon and I'm all sad because I'm losing against Belal. And then, Jack's going to come in here. He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't give a fuck if Bilal's going to try to take him down. What's going to happen? He's not going to do anything. He's just going to lay on top of him, hug him. And now JDM is going to work his best to get up to the feet and just put hammers on this dude. So we're going JDM by KO or even just a freaking beatdown of a decision. So we're fucking going JDM. Belal might just take him down, hug him the entire time. And, we just hate watching it. But I'm going to go with the fun pick. I'm going JDM by KO. I'm fucking hoping for it. So, yeah, that's what I'm going with, guys. And let's see. I got the KZ cycle of the week. I'm not going to do that. I don't have a cycle of the week. I'm just saying, man, this isn't betting advice. This is what I bet. This is not financial advice. All right. So none of you guys come in the comments saying, oh, you lost me money. No, I didn't lose any money, motherfucking money. All right. All right. That's what we're going to establish here. So now that that's settled. Let's go ahead and get this parlay popped up for you, filthy degenerates. Let me go ahead and get logged in here. And this is what I had. I placed a whole bunch of bets on this card, but this is the one that I feel like is nice, just to show you guys the nice little 3-legger. These are just like whole, just degenerate full fight card parlays. So no, that's not what I'm looking for. Those are like hedge parlays. Here it is. So this is the KZ cycle that I like. Charles Radke by KO, Natalia Silva by decision, and then Jasmine Jastovicius by submission. I like all of these. I feel like all of these are live. I mean, Jastovicius by like ground and pound TKO would fucking hurt. It would hurt badly. And this might age poorly because that might happen. So we'll see. I might replace the same bet with a double chance just to be safe. But this is what I like here. And that's what I'm riding with for the card. And I hope everybody enjoyed my breakdown. I tried my best to do some good research to, give you guys some quality information. That's why I came so late in the week. I don't want to just get on here on Monday, barely have done any research. This is what I think with my uneducated opinion. Your boy tried to educate himself for you guys, to give you guys some quality takes here. So that's why we came late in the week. Your boy's busy. We work full time, not a full time YouTuber. So we're going to go ahead and get this done for the people looking at the camera like a professional. So yeah, everybody, thank you for your time and your fucking patience with your boy for posting this so late in the week. But we're going to try to get these a little bit earlier. No promises. I'm a busy mofo, but I'm definitely going to get the full card picks out at least on Fridays for you people. Peace out. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, all that good stuff. See you later.